Humanity, by the late 22nd century, had escaped the blue planet, breaking free of its shell and reaching out to the stars. The Earth's narrow boundaries were no longer enough for them. With the power given by technology, they began to spread into the unknown depths of the galaxy. At first, humanity prioritized diplomacy while exploring space. But diplomacy was just another interface used temporarily in place of weapons and technologies. The moment humans encountered their first foreign civilization is known in history as the Separator. Located in the Kepler-62 system, this civilization, known as Arkaida, welcomed humans warmly, extending the hand of friendship. This race, more peaceful and advanced compared to human civilization, did not hesitate to share their technology and knowledge. However, peaceful civilizations were merely prey for humans. After prolonged contact, the Arkaidas continued to cooperate with humans, who initially seemed hospitable. Yet, this cooperation revealed humanity's true nature. The first attack began with a virus secretly implanted into the control systems of the Arkaida's flagship. This virus developed by humans disabled the entire fleet within minutes. The Arkaidas thought it was a system malfunction, but soon they were attacked by human ships. The humans' goal was clear: to plunder resources, steal technology, and satisfy their desire to dominate the universe. With the guise of cooperation, humanity had activated their plans to conquer the galaxy. At first, the aliens underestimated the humans, thinking them technologically inferior. However, humans quickly reversed this weakness. They adapted the stolen technology for their own weapons, developed their war strategies, and formed the most ruthless army in the galaxy. The Arkaida Empire collapsed within a few years. The human assaults were so fast and ruthless that one of the galaxy's strongest civilizations was erased from history. The fall of Arkaida served as a warning to other civilizations. Humans had come to space as tyrants. The United Races Confederation quickly assembled to stop the humans. But it was too late. Humans had already spread across the galaxy. Every new planet, every new civilization, further fueled their aggressive appetite. Peace and diplomacy were merely tools. The goal was absolute control. The human empire was officially declared after the Kepler War. Earth was no longer the center of the universe. It was a main base, a symbol for humanity. The real power was in the conquered planets beyond the stars. Humans were establishing their colonies across space, exploiting natural resources, and enslaving or completely eradicating other civilizations. The tyranny of humanity quickly became palpable in every corner of the galaxy. Other races united to oppose them, but human intelligence and ruthlessness became an unstoppable force. Independent galactic civilizations one by one fell under the yoke of the human empire, completely altering the balance in the galaxy. Following the Kepler War, leaders of the United Races Confederation convened in the Zarkan system. They discussed what could be done against the human threat. But under their fearful gaze, human armies were rapidly approaching. The Zarkan system had become the target of the next human invasion. But this time, humans were coming not just to conquer, but to completely annihilate. The peak of their oppressive tyranny had been reached. The tyranny of humans grew more reckless with every victory. The fall of Arkaida not only provided them with new resources and technologies, but also served as a deterrent against other civilizations in the galaxy. However, this victory also caught the attention of the United Races Confederation. They were looking for ways to stop the human threat. The grand meeting organized in the Zarkan system brought together leaders from all over the galaxy. They planned to form a united front against the relentless expansion policies of humans. However, human spies were aware of all the details of these meetings. The intelligence network of the human empire was so vast and effective that they were forewarned of their enemies' every move. The supreme commander of the human empire, General Roderick Strawn, used this information to prepare an attack plan. His strategy was simple: to destroy the main planet of the meeting, Zarkan, while the meeting was in session. By doing so, he aimed to eliminate the galaxy's leaders together, ending any serious resistance before it could start. The attack began at midnight on Zarkan, while the meeting was still ongoing. human spacecraft silently infiltrated the planet's orbit and subjected it to heavy bombardment. The atmosphere of Zarkon was lit by the lights of exploding ships. The complex where the conference was being held was destroyed in the first wave of the attack. Many leaders present at the meeting lost their lives at that moment. This attack was the largest and most ruthless act carried out by humans against other civilizations in the galaxy. The destruction of Zarkon resonated throughout the galaxy. Now, there was no limit to how far humans could go. They were not only tyrants, but also merciless annihilators. The remaining civilizations were in fear and helplessness, not knowing what to do. The merciless and reckless actions of humans had completely demoralized the other races. Humanity had become not just a threat, but a nightmare. However, from the deepest corners of the galaxy, a glimmer of hope began to emerge. From the ashes of Zarkon, a new resistance movement was born. This movement was supported by individuals from various corners of the galaxy. They were looking for ways to stop human tyranny, developing new strategies and alliances. This resistance could be the last hope of the galaxy. When the human empire heard of this resistance, they were ready to do everything to suppress it. But this time, the resistance was more prepared and determined. They were fighting not just to slow down human tyranny, but to end it. The galaxy was on the brink of a new war, and this war could be the biggest of all times. While the ashes of Zarkon had not yet cooled, a galaxy-wide resistance movement quietly began to take shape. A few leaders who had survived the Zarkon disaster and gained support from all over the galaxy started to mobilize. This new resistance, built on the ruins of Zarkon, was simply named Zarkon Resistance. The leader of the Zarkon Resistance was General Talon Var, a former ally of humans who had been betrayed by them. Talon dedicated his life to ending human tyranny. He became the symbol of this new movement and gained great fame across the galaxy. Under Talon's leadership, the resistance began to gather strength, growing with supporters from many corners of the galaxy. The human empire saw the growth of the resistance as a major threat and tried every method to eliminate it. They attempted to infiltrate the resistance with spies and to eliminate resistance leaders through assassination. However, the resistance grew stronger after each attack. New strategies were developed to counter human tyranny, and independent civilizations across the galaxy began to join the resistance. The main base of the resistance was established in the Korvax system. This was a strategically important location and was in a deep space region that humans could not easily access. Talon and his advisors set up a large defense network and a war room there. The main goal of the resistance was to cut off the galactic communication and supply lines of the humans and deplete their resources. A series of large-scale conflicts and tactical guerrilla attacks were planned. The resistance ambushed human ships, sabotaged strategically important mining planets, and raided human space stations. Each successful operation provided the resistance with more support and resources. The fighters of the resistance began to be seen as heroes across the galaxy. During this process, the resistance managed to capture human technologies and use them to their advantage. Former human engineers and scientists joined the resistance, helping them gain technological superiority. Additionally, many scientists and strategists who had fled from humans took refuge with the resistance and offered their knowledge and skills in service of the resistance. After years of conflicts and struggles, the resistance gradually became a power across the galaxy. They rose as a beacon of hope against human tyranny. The rise of the resistance marked the beginning of a new era across the galaxy. This struggle could be the galaxy's final stand against the human empire. With the growing strength of the Zarkon resistance, weak points of the human empire across the galaxy were targeted. Talon Var and his advisors planned a major attack to strike at the heart of the empire. This plan involved capturing one of the empire's most important energy sources, the Hiron 4 energy station. Hiron 4 was a critical center for interstellar energy transfer, and controlling this station meant gaining a significant power across the galaxy. The strategy of the resistance was to quickly seize the station, cut off the energy flow, and disrupt the operations of the empire in other regions. The attack on Hiron 4 began when the security systems of the station were at their weakest. After months of planning and preparation, resistance fighters infiltrated the station with fast and silent ships. The conflict began shortly thereafter, and the resistance, with superior combat tactics, managed to push back the Empire's soldiers. When they reached the control room of the station, the engineers of the resistance hacked into the systems to cut off the energy flow. During this time, Talon led the resistance forces and boosted their morale. When the energy flow was cut off, the energy transfers to other regions of the Empire stopped, causing a large part of the Empire's defense systems to be disabled. The fall of Hiron 4 was celebrated as a great victory across the galaxy, and the resistance gained even more strength. This victory inspired other civilizations and increased their resistance against the Empire. After this success, the resistance began to aim for bigger targets and continued to target other critical points within the Empire. This great victory allowed the resistance to gain new supporters across the galaxy. The seemingly invincible walls of the human empire had started to crumble. The resistance was preparing for the final battle that would change the fate of the galaxy. The victory at Hiron 4 caused a huge ripple across the galaxy, further strengthening the resistance movement. With the Empire's energy lines cut, the defenses at many strategic points weakened. As the resistance spread across the galaxy, many regions under human control raised the flag of rebellion. These revolts were supported by the resistance's coordinated galaxy-wide attacks. General Talon planned a direct assault on Terra Nova, the capital of the human empire. This attack would target the heart of the empire and end the galactic war. The resistance gathered a large fleet at Terra Nova, aiming to break through the planet's defense shields and capture the capital. As the attack began, a large space battle erupted in the orbit of Terra Nova. The resistance fleet began to gain the upper hand against the Empire's defense forces. The advanced technology and tactics of the resistance pushed back the Empire's fleet. Resistance fighters landed on the planet's surface and began advancing towards the capital. The battle in the capital was fierce. The Empire soldiers tried to stop the resistance forces at all costs. However, the determination of the resistance and the support they received from all corners of the galaxy were enough to defeat them. When the defense shields of Terra Nova collapsed, the resistance forces captured the capital. Most of the Empire's leaders either died during the battle or surrendered. Resistance leader General Talon declared a new era for the galaxy in the central square of Terra Nova. This was the moment the Empire officially ended, and a new form of governance across the galaxy began. The Resistance established a new government as a representative of freedom and peace across the galaxy. The former territories of the Empire were restructured as free worlds, with each having the right to establish its own government. After long periods of tyranny and war, the galaxy found peace. The fall of Terra Nova marked the beginning of a new era, greeted with great hope across the galaxy. General Talon, as the leader of the newly established Freedom Federation, worked to ensure peace and cooperation among the various planets. However, the deep wounds and mistrust left by the Empire's era were shaking the foundations of this new period. The Federation consisted of planets that were restructured as free worlds from the former Empire's territories. Since each planet had the right to establish its own government, political diversity and different forms of governance emerged. While this encouraged diversity and autonomy, it also threatened unity and stability within the Federation. Some planets remained under the control of the old elites from the Empire era. These elites were seeking to regain power and restore the old order. Additionally, in some space regions outside the Federation, pirates and criminal organizations had gained strength by exploiting the collapse of the Empire. General Var and his advisors developed diplomatic and military strategies to deal with these various threats. The Federation formed a peacekeeping force to combat internal threats and also increased border security against external threats to the Federation. During this process, some radical groups within the Federation advocated for a more centralized government structure, calling for restrictions on the autonomy of the planets. These groups argued for a tighter union to prevent the Federation from falling apart. However, these demands caused significant tension among the planets that were committed to ideals of freedom and autonomy. Meanwhile, independent scientists across the galaxy were studying the technologies left behind by the Empire, making new discoveries. These discoveries offered potential solutions to the Federation's problems. Science and technology played a key role in the Federation's reconstruction process. As General Var dealt with these challenges, he worked to solidify the foundation of the Federation and ensure long-term peace and stability across the galaxy. However, every challenge he faced showed how fragile this new period was. Would the Federation stand united against internal and external threats, or would it get lost in the chaos born from the fall of the Empire? The newly established Freedom Federation had to face many challenges in its first years. Internal politics were as important as external policies and security matters. New threats began to appear on the Federation's outer borders, especially beyond the former Empire's territories. The increasing pirate activities and criminal organizations across the galaxy were threatening the Federation's security and putting trade routes at risk. These groups had captured old weapons and ships left behind by the fall of the Empire, creating a serious security problem for the Federation. Additionally, an area outside the Federation, known as the Verge, had been left in a legal vacuum. The Verge was a region composed of many different races and civilizations, governed by no single authority, and existing in a state of disorder. Various groups and factions in this region had refused to recognize the Federation's authority, establishing their own rules. General Talon Var and the Federation leaders developed strategies to deal with these threats. The Federation worked on strengthening its security forces and increasing defense around its outer borders to counteract the threats. Additionally, diplomatic relations were opened with the Verge region in an attempt to persuade some of the groups there to cooperate with the Federation. Meanwhile, Federation scientists and technology experts were working on new defense technologies and energy sources. Innovative technologies were providing the Federation with more effective tools to combat these emerging threats. However, some powerful leaders and factions in the Verge region rejected the Federation's offers, determined to maintain their independence and authority. This led to occasional armed conflicts and heightened tensions between the Federation and the Verge. The security and foreign policy challenges faced by the Federation demonstrated how much the new government had to deal with both internally and externally. The Federation leaders had to continuously seek new ways to ensure peace and stability across the galaxy. Though the Federation had made significant achievements since its formation, constant tension persisted due to internal conflicts and disagreements over governance. Particularly, there were increasing pressures from various planets to expand freedoms and limit the powers of the central authority. This placed the Federation leadership in a difficult position. A group of radical leaders formed a secret alliance to limit the Federation's expansion and growth. This alliance, calling itself the New Order, aimed to radically change the Federation's current policies. Their goal was to launch a galaxy-wide reform movement and establish a more authoritarian government model. The New Order found strong support, especially on the frontier planets. These planets felt the Federation was not providing enough protection from external threats, and that they were being economically neglected compared to the core planets. This dissatisfaction led the frontier planets to align themselves with the New Order movement. The rebellion began on Zephyr, a planet strategically located but frequently overlooked by Federation policies. The leaders of the New Order gathered on Zephyr and officially launched a rebellion against the Federation. This rebellion quickly spread to other frontier planets. The Federation moved swiftly to counter this sudden rebellion. General Talon Var mobilized both diplomatic and military resources to stop the spread of the rebellion and maintain unity within the Federation. Federation forces began launching a series of military operations against the rebellious planets. However, the leaders of the New Order were prepared for these moves. Through secret agreements and alliances, they weakened the Federation's military power and strengthened their own positions. In the early stages of the rebellion, they won several critical victories. The rebellion faced by the Federation wasn't just a civil war. It had become a galaxy-wide power struggle. This struggle would determine the future of the Federation and open the doors to a new era across the galaxy. The conflict between the Federation and the New Order escalated into a full-blown civil war across the galaxy. The New Order had expanded its power in the frontier planets, posing a significant threat to the central authority of the Federation. General Talon Var, leader of the Federation, marshaled all available resources to eliminate this threat. The decisive battle between the two forces took place in the Navarros system. Navarros was a strategically important star system and one of the most critical points under New Order control. The Federation aimed to reclaim this system to halt the New Order's advance. The battle began on Navarro's main planet, Helios. Federation forces launched a large-scale assault, managing to break through the planet's defense shields. The two armies clashed in an epic confrontation on the vast plains of Helios. During the battle, Kaidan Voros, the leader of the New Order, personally led his forces. Kaidan, a former Federation general, knew the weaknesses of the Federation well. However, Talon Var's strategic brilliance allowed the Federation forces to position themselves advantageously during the battle's critical moments. In the end, the Federation forces broke through the New Order's defenses and took control of Helios. This victory dealt a significant blow to the New Order movement and stopped their galaxy-wide advance. However, the victory came at a high cost. The battle on Helios resulted in heavy losses on both sides. While the Federation had taken another step towards securing peace across the galaxy, the war left lasting scars. After the decisive battle in the Navarros system, the New Order movement collapsed, with most of its leaders either killed or captured. This victory wasn't just about winning a battle. It presented the Federation with an opportunity to secure long-term peace across the galaxy. General Talon Var organized a Grand Congress, bringing together leaders from every corner of the galaxy. The purpose of this Congress was to restructure the Federation and discuss the future form of governance. During the Congress, a new Federation constitution based on principles of freedom, equality, and mutual respect was adopted. The new constitution preserved the autonomy of individual planets while limiting the powers of the central authority. It also contained provisions encouraging economic and technological cooperation between all planets. This was a significant step, particularly for the development of the frontier planets. The Federation also signed peace and cooperation agreements with the Verge region. These agreements aimed to reduce pirate activities in the region and improve trade relations with the civilizations in the Verge. The Federation's outreach to this previously marginalized region gained it new allies. With peace restored, Federation scientists invested more in new discoveries and technologies. Science and technology continued to play a key role in addressing the Federation's future challenges. As a new era of peace and cooperation dawned across the galaxy, General Talon Var retired and handed leadership over to a younger, more dynamic leader. The new leader continued efforts to ensure sustainable peace and prosperity for all. After long and challenging wars, the galaxy finally achieved the peace it had been waiting for. The new Federation promised hope and new beginnings for beings from every corner of the galaxy.